we mentioned X, and I'll transition to Elon Musk. I saw a video. He was in Los Angeles here about a month and a half ago for something called the All In Summit. Peter Thiel was there, Mark Benioff. It was like a who's who of conservative folks in tech and their agenda. In one of the sessions, Musk actually did a wide ranging interview where he was kind of, kissed up to by the panelists. He appeared on it was this big disjointed giant head on the screen. He wasn't there. But in addition to AI and Tesla and numerous other topics, he discussed Starlink, his low Earth orbit satellite broadband service. And there are real plans. The panelists were like, yeah, Verizon sucks. Elon, you should take it over. And it's kind of, well, thank you. I plan to. That same day, okay, you gotta turn this off. I'm sorry. Okay, that same day, the FCC had forced through EchoStar's $17 billion sale of mid-band spectrum to Starlink. So they're asking him kind of, what are you going to do with it? He says in a couple of years, the handsets will be there. The intention is to replace 5G wireless. What I thought was interesting is Netflix has already commissioned a study, and we have that in the newsletters in addition to this video of Musk, looking at the possibility of streaming over low Earth orbit satellite broadband all over the world. The fact that they're commissioning this study makes me think, okay, this is the way it's going to go. This is the political wind. Let's just go along with the program, which is smart, but it's not as fast. The latency isn't as good as 5G internet. It's, we're going to get an inferior product. I mean, some folks in rural areas that don't get 5G internet as well, it's good for them, but, tyranny of the minority.
Here's who it'll matter for. It'll matter for the old XM Sirius audience of truckers, however long they last, as autonomous trucks start to replace those long-haul driving, marine customers, people who are offshore somewhere, folks in the middle of nowhere besides Billy Bob Thornton, other than him, but obviously they're relying on satellite to connect to stuff through T-Mobile. It's not necessarily great when you have other options. And so I'll be interested to see where the penetration rates are in bigger cities or even mid-sized cities. Satellites always got some challenges with all that noise. 5G has its own, but it's going to have to deal with some real competition with hard lines that are strung already in most American cities and most American neighborhoods in American cities. So it'll be fun to watch.
Well, I mean, if you look at 5G internet or mobile internet, the customer satisfaction rankings, and I don't know how much you believe in those, but Verizon, T-Mobile, they do pretty well.
Yeah.
To sit here and tell we all believe they suck. They don't. They just, they're not your dog in the hunt, and it's kind of disillusioning in tech to see how the sausages make sometimes, just because you've sort of access.
Well, it's part of this is it's impossible in a setting like the one you were describing to separate the idolatry, the cult hero status that Elon has in his own echo chamber, from a larger reality, which is Tesla's missing, for instance, its delivery dates. I mean, its delivery numbers on most of this year for cars. They had a decent last quarter because the subsidies were going away and everybody was buying a bunch of if they were going to buy them, it's like, I got to buy it now. So that bumped him up. But he's got a real hangover from his Doge days that I think will continue. And I'll be interested to see if that continues to, is he damaged goods? He's the face of Starlink and SpaceX and Tesla. Is that going to impair uptake beyond a certain fanboy level of some of his products going forward? And I think, if you have options, particularly better, higher capacity, more reliable, possibly cheaper options, and you don't have to have Elon, you're not helping keep him the richest man in the world, you might take him, possibly.
Well, we'll see. It is interesting. You did tap into something. The amount of hero worship that goes into this, to this side of the equation is striking. There's a segment of that audience that still sees him as sort of, kind of a superhero and
Right.
infallible.
Right.
And those numbers, for whatever reason, haven't matriculated them. You see, strange.
Right. He's got his following, and you know, I don't know. I think he's not going. I think he's taken a slice off the top that used to be reachable. It's going to be a lot harder to reach now. And if you put on a product that's not as good, that has actual competition outside of those specific use cases I mentioned, I'm sure there's more. Um, you know, he can do well in other countries that have not as much connectivity as well. So there's that.